Welcome to another episode of Comedy Wham Presents with me, your host Valerie, and sometime kitty co-host Miss Purrington and Mookie. They are back at home. We are recording from the Fallout Podcast Studio. ComedyWham.com is your place to go for features about all Austin comedy. In addition to podcasts, Comedy Wham brings you articles, album reviews, show reviews, our advice column, our listing of festivals from across the country and the world, our FPIA contest page, and my articles for the Austin Chronicle and thebarbedwire.com about the Austin and Texas comedy scene. Our most popular feature is our events page for live comedy shows in Austin, Houston, and DFW, where 100% of the entries you see come from comics and producers. Click the Submit a Show button from the top of the homepage or events page to fill out the survey to get your show listed. It's free and easy. Tag us on your Instagram stories and we'll share your show promo to our followers. And we also offer paid promo pushes on Instagram. Speaking of events, come check out our monthly Canyon Grill comedy show in Lakeway on the first Wednesdays of every month. Want to support these resources we provide? You can donate to Comedy Wham on PayPal, Venmo, or even Patreon. Click the Support CW icon on our homepage to see the ways that you can help us. Our podcast was launched in 2016 to bring you funny people and their stories. As a fan, I like to delve into a comic's background and motivations and will usually take a detour along the way. Consider the interview a way for you to get to know the folks that make the Austin comedy scene one of the best in the country. If you like this podcast, please rate and review us. Today, we are talking to somebody who's a featured performer at Cold Town Theater. He's been a member of the award-winning Sugar Water Purple troupe. He's currently co-hosting and producing R.L. Stein, a comedy music project. I remember him way back, most fondly for yelling at me from across the street a long time ago. This is 2019, to say thank you for Comedy Wham taking over the live comedy events calendar over 5 years ago now, from Last Gas Comedies. That's a callback for you. He hosts an open mic on Tuesdays and a showcase on Thursdays, both at the Tiniest Bar on 5th Street. That's the name of the bar. It happens to be on 5th Street. It is not the whatever. His comedy album, All You Talk About, came out last year, and he is in the throes of his however many shows and however many days leading up to his birthday, including coming up headlining the Velveeta Room, I think for the first time, the weekend of January 31st to February 1st. And now Comedy Wham presents our returning guest, Symply Courtney.
Hey, it's me. I'm back. Wonderful. Happy to be here.
Yeah. So the first thing that I legitimately want to do to you is apologize to you.
Word. I accept it.
Because, and this is probably going to come way out of left field for you. When the pandemic happened, I missed podcasting, and you graciously agreed to be one of my Zoom interview guests. We recorded in late March, so I thought, it's going to be just the same.
Right.
And so we lined this up, and you were also doing our online shows, which was pretty awesome. And I realized what a miserable experience that was, the Zoom recording for a podcast interview. And I stopped doing them. And it wasn't because of you. It was just like the process and just like standing across or sitting across the table from somebody and like feeling like you're making a real connection. I'm like, I knew you, and I knew that we had a lot in common, and I really liked you. And I just thought, if I can't even feel the warmth in my heart talking to Symply, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
So I stopped for a really long time.
I respect that.
Yeah.
The one that got me, apology accepted, the one that got me was not the interview, the Zoom interview. It was the show. The Zoom show we did. And it was Twitch, if I remember correctly, right? It was Twitch. Yeah. It was being streamed. And I just had the flyer, I think, pop up somewhere. And it was showing me that I was like, wait, this is on Twitch. And this was early on. Everything stopped in March. We probably did this in April. Yeah. That's how early it was. And I remember just the very sterile feeling of trying to tell jokes into the void. I'm still a very person to person when it comes to performing comic. And that was a miserable experience because I was telling jokes and I didn't know what reactions I was getting. I know that like I barely understood Twitch. Let's be honest. I barely understood Twitch. They said, well, if they're laughing, they'll press the laugh emoji or whatever, do a laugh emoji. And I remember all I could do is tell jokes into my. I want to say I had a. Did I use my phone? I don't remember how I did it because that's very early in the process.
Yeah.
There's a chance I used my phone, but I remember that I had headphones on, and so I told the jokes into the phone. I could kind of see the reactions of people, but I could hear the comics. And like the comics weren't, I don't know if I could hear the comics chattering, but I knew for a fact that more comics were listening to my set than actual audience members.
Right.
And at least the feedback and all that. And so it was just that I'm not a person that performs in front of comics. I am if I walk into a room and I'm there to perform and it's nothing but comics, and at least I know it's nothing but comics. You know, you travel somewhere, sometimes you don't know who's a comic, who's an audience member. That's different. But if I walk in and it's nothing but comics, there's a high probability I'll just walk out.
Oh, wow.
I don't perform for comics. And it's not because I think I'm better than whatever it is. It's just that when I perform, I don't think that what I do and what I bring to the table or to the stage in this case is appreciated by people that do what we do. People that don't do what we do are like, oh man, okay, I can listen to that. I get it. But a comic, you know, they're looking for this type of thing and that, and I'm not a traditional stand-up, set-up, punchline comic. I am a person, you know, and I'm very emotionally charged on stage. I have, you know, ups and downs like everybody else, but I just always noticed that my energy when it's regular audience members, it's different than when it's for comics. You know, like open mics were always rough when I first started because sometimes you're there and you're not getting any feedback, and I need feedback. That's who I am as a performer. I need to know you're listening to what I'm talking about. If I'm talking to you and I'm just seeing the top of your head because you're looking down at your phone, well, I'm like, well, you're not listening. Oh, I am listening. Well, I don't like if we're having a conversation, the indicators, you know, nonverbal cues are you're looking, you're nodding in agreement, you're responding, whatever. And it's like, oh man, I'm talking to a wall.
Yeah.
I could go do this at home, you know? And so that's my mindset is and I got like that. I might have got like that 7 years in because I've been doing it for 12 years. And I think year 7 was when it changed for me, where I was like, dude, I'm not here to just tell jokes to comics. I love you guys. I love what we do.
Yeah.
But I would be used better elsewhere. Yeah. And also I don't do stuff for the back of the room. Like I host my open mics, you know, Tuesdays and Thursdays at Tiniest Bar in Texas. But that's a different Courtney that's hosting that open mic versus who gets booked and shows up to do a show versus who is out working, let's say at an open mic, might go and do some time at open mic. Those are different people. If I'm at an open mic and I'm working, I am trying to work on something. If you see me at an open mic that's not Tiniest Bar in Texas, just know I have something coming up and I'm working on something. That's rare. It's very rare because like I have Tiniest Bar in Texas, but I also have a plethora of shows that I'm, you know, fortunately booked on that I can work my stuff out. With that important gig that's coming up, the 31st, that hands down is probably the most important, I think, show that I have.
Really?
In my career. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm excited. I was thinking about it as I was walking over. I walked here an hour earlier, but I parked and I was like, yo, this is the most important show coming up. Hey, this is the interview before the show. This is the most important interview. And then I was an hour early, but that's how jazzed I am for this. And so I'm putting a lot of effort into this. Despite the fact that I just recorded an album earlier last year, those performances were great. I loved it. I think I did one show, and then I did 2 or 3 run-throughs of it beforehand. But this one here, I think it's bigger for me because when I started the journey of even thinking about comedy, the first place that I went to was the Velveeta Room.
Of course.
The very first show I went to, I was married then. We just got tickets and we went to the Velveeta Room. I had never even heard of it. You know?
Wow.
And we go there, and I think I know Luke McClory. I don't know if you know Luke
I do
McClory,
remember him. Yeah,
the Suited Wonder, right? He was on, and I can't remember who else was on there. But it was just so interesting doing shows with him later on, and even doing mics with him later on in life, considering that was like one of the first local stand-up comics I ever saw. But yeah, I remember seeing that place, and so I was there, and I was stand-up. And keep in mind, when I saw that, I don't even think I was thinking about doing comedy. I think that was just a night out for us. We did something different.
Yeah.
We went to see something in person. It was comedy. But then many, many years later, now I'm looking at that place. I'm like, man, I'd love to do a spot there. You know, I'd love to get some time there. And then last year I produced, I think, 3 or 4 shows during Black History Month there.
Mm-hmm.
And then here I am this year. And I remember I reached out to Pat and I said, dude, I want a headline, but I want to do it in a way, because as a producer, I always end up halfway booking and producing and all of that. I don't want to produce. I just want to perform. I'm throwing my, I'm putting my trust in you. I'm thrusting my trust into you. And I already know, because he runs that place so wonderfully. Shout out to Pat Dean.
Yeah.
There's not a chance that he's going to put together a crappy lineup.
Right.
But what I said, you know what? I don't want to even think about the lineup. I just want to show up and perform every night. And so January 31st, we have an 8 o'clock show. Then Friday, February 1st, we have 2 shows, 8 o'clock and a 10. Mm-hmm. And the beauty of that is this is I'm doing 39 shows in 39 days for my 39th birthday, which will be February 8th. So that's my birthday month. Nice. And it almost caps all of the work that I'm doing, because I'm currently in it right now. I get all of this work in, and then this is my final. And so I'm looking at the 31st through the 1st as my final exam. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited.
Yay.
I'm excited.
I'm excited for you.
Dude, it's not the end of anything. Mm-mm. It's not the end of anything, but it definitely is it's a statement. It's a statement. It's a hallmark. It's a feather in the cap. It's a notch. It's an achievement, and I don't take the stuff lightly. I stopped taking things lightly a while ago, and I was like, bro, enjoy the stuff. Don't take it overly personal, but go enjoy what's going on. And so with each of these shows, like I have, I think we're doing 4 or 5 today. Each one of those shows I'm finding a way to enjoy. I did 3 last night.
Wow.
Each one of those shows I found a way to enjoy. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And getting close to 40, that'll do it to you too.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. My kids are 16 and 14.
Yeah.
And so I see time every day with them.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not with them physically, talking to them, there's something that lets me know the passage of time. Mm-hmm, talking with their mom. We're laughing right now about I was telling Simone, because I hadn't taught her how to ride a bike and I feel bad about it, but we just never had the space and we never had the need for it.
Yeah.
And I remember she actually did have a bike, and she let me know. She said, well, I did have a bike. You remember I went down the hill. So I never can describe this place properly, but since you're from Austin, the spiral thing that's over there by the Long Center, right? Uh-huh. So we had her on the bike. She had a bike that I know. Bad parents, right?
Oh, God.
Bad young parents trying to live life, right? So she has her bike, and she has the what do you call it? The training wheels, right?
Training wheels, uh-huh.
She goes screaming down the side of the hill instead of, because we wanted her to just stay on the path,
of course,
the concrete, which is a
no
spiral.
There's no guardrails.
There's no guardrails. Yeah. So you know what she did? She went straight down the hill. And not only is she going straight down the hill, mom is freaking out.
Of course.
I'm panicked. I can't get there fast enough. Uh-huh. She's going straight for the freaking street.
Oh, jeez.
And this is, I guess the first set. This is probably 4 or 5-year-old Simone. Just see your life flash before your eyes, and you can't do anything. And the beauty was that she fell because she's a klutz. And I'm not going to say she was a klutz. She's not a klutz anymore. She's still a klutz. She fell. She freaking fell before she got to the concrete, and it was in the grass.
Oh, good. Thank God.
So we're just like, Simone. And I remember she was, and she was just along for the ride. And I'm like, stop. But she has no concept of stop because she's just along for the ride. Uh-huh. And yes, she just falls right before calamity happens. But it was enough. And I felt like, because we were talking about literally this weekend, I don't think she's traumatized to not ride a bike again.
Yeah.
But I think we were traumatized to put her on a bike again after that.
Yeah.
And so that's what happened to her and her brother. And so I was just like, yeah, that's right. That did happen. Kids will do that for you, man. But the time, though, this time is such a thing. And, getting closer to 40, I tell people it's not that I don't care about anything. It's just there are less things that I care a lot about. There are less things that I'm putting my energy and my focus and my heart and emotions into.
Yeah.
But the things that I'm on, I'm all the way in. Dude, I'm all the way in. Like with my son and his basketball thing, I'm focused in on that. Mm-hmm. Forget just basketball, my kids. My dad, I lost my dad late last year. And that made me kind of jump into overdrive with a lot of things concerning my kids and my family. Because I also, my mom, she's such a wonderful person. And I make the mistake of taking her for granted all the time. But when you lose one parent, you realize you're like, oh crap, like this, it's literally, you only got two of these.
Yeah.
Now, some people have, you have steps and all that, but as far as the people that you actually came from biologically, you only have two of those. And so when you lose one, you're like, oh crap, the time is there. Like the clock was always there, but now you see it a lot more.
Yeah.
And so with her, I'm doing something a little different this year. I told myself during my 39, I call it my birthday marathon challenge of shows. I'm allocating a day that I'm trying to focus in on her and do something with her. Today was supposed to be church. I couldn't do it because I had the interview, and it wasn't a big deal. I called her, and she says, don't worry about it. And so I was like, well, we're going to do something today. Matter of fact, that's also one of the reasons why I'm not in San Antonio at the basketball tournament is because of intentionality. I said, I want to be here closer to my mom. Sundays are for my mom. Mondays are for Simone because we spend so much time focused on Titan because he has so much going on basketball-wise that I was like, okay, I need to allocate some time for baby girl. And so Mondays are for her. We go and play racquetball. We eat. We go to the library. We just hang out, and it's just us. But I was like, you know what? I'm still going to go hard on this comedy stuff, but I'm also going to go hard on this family stuff too. And so that's the new thing in my life now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, as a recovering swim mom, I know all about you. You give up on things just because you want to be there for the kid, even if you're just sitting in the stands and you're multitasking on other stuff until the 2 or 3 minutes that they get their time to shine.
Right, and they look over at you.
Yeah.
A lady told me that I did a tournament in Dallas last year, and he traveled up with mom and stepdad. I traveled solo. And then I ended up just getting an Airbnb not too far from the arena. They were in a hotel with the whole team and stuff. And I felt kind of bad. I felt like, dang, I'm kind of marooned here. I'm kind of by myself. And with a teenager, so well, especially a teenage boy, they don't oftentimes show love the way that we necessarily want them to show love.
Yeah.
Sometimes their love might be hey, can you give me something to drink? And that's the only way that they're going to acknowledge you this entire trip, right?
Yep.
Or you try to hug them and they're like, man, I'm not 5 anymore. So I'm like, and I'm just like, I paid for all of this. Like, the only reason why you're on this team is because of my knowledge and my expertise and my ability to reach out and get people. The only reason why you got this stuff, I have to pay the dues for monthly for you to be here. Then I show up and I have to pay for myself. And you're not even going to say what's up to me? All right, whatever, be like that. And I remember I was feeling some type of way after the first, because we had 3 days there. And the lady that was over the Airbnb I was staying at, she's a music mom. And so all of her kids are grown, empty nesters, so she just has the rooms. But she was telling me, she says, you may not feel like they don't care that you're there, but they care. They're showing it in a different way and still be there. Don't miss the opportunity of being there.
Yeah.
Because I told her,
you're going to make me cry, Simply.
I hear you. I felt dejected, though. I remember I was like, maybe I should leave. Like I came up here and, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And here I am. I was like, you know what? Maybe I can just go home, and I think I said it in some way like that. And she was like, no, you go because he's going to look. There might be one time that he's going to look.
Exactly.
And when he looks, he's going to want to see you there. I'm like, but mom's here, stepdad's here, his friends, his teammates. She says, there's something about you. And so it happened. And it was funny because every time I have those moments, I'm like, it makes me keep going,
Yeah. Oh, it's happening to you too, huh?
Oh, we here, dude. We here.
No, you know what? I'll tell you, now that my son has graduated, he has told me more than a few times that he is grateful because he feels and sees by seeing all these other people around him his age.
Yep.
What a good parent I was.
Well, they're running solo. They're running solo sometimes. And one of the hardest things for me, I worked Parks and Rec for a decade, right? And this was one of the funniest mistakes I ever made, dude. I put together, we did a whole, I want to say this is flag football. It was either flag football or basketball. The sport doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, it's youth sports. Kids ages 5 through, I think it was 14. Don't get me wrong. It might be 14, 15. So I was like, okay. And at the end of the day, all I wanted was a picture. Keep in mind, I did all this because I just wanted a picture.
Yeah.
To just show the number of people we had, teams, players, parents, coaches, all that, right? And so I remember the way that it was supposed to be structured, we had our award ceremony. I would have it tiered to where you had your small kids here in all their uniforms. You had your medium-sized kids here. You had your big people here. And I could just take a picture and be like, ha, this is what I did. I'm a youth sports coordinator. Suck it, everybody, you know? And, man, when I tell you the biggest mistake that I made is the order in which I gave out the awards. First of all, what do people do at awards? They get their award and they take their kid off and they take their own pictures and they leave. Yeah. So who did I put up first? I put the little kids up first. I put the little cute babies who had all the support in the world. Because when you're 5, you're 6, you're 7, everybody's excited for you to do sports. By the time you're 10, 11, 12, the excitement is kind of worn off. By the time you're 14, man, they drop you off in the parking lot and tell you to do what you do.
That's right.
Yeah. And so what happened is I put the babies up first. Everybody, fanfare, cheering. I'm like, yeah, y'all cheer. I'll make noise, make everybody feel welcome. But they're slowly leaving. And before you know it, that picture that I wanted has less and less kids in it. Yeah. And by the time I get to the 14-year-olds, man, it might have been 2 parents in the whole thing. And they're just up there getting awards for me. I could have just walked over and handed them the award, you know? But I remember that, and I look at that stuff, and I was like, man, I understand that it's hard. Yeah. If you're a single parent, you have to keep the house aligned, keep the lights on, keep the heat flowing, keep the food, the rent. You have to cover the phones. You have to cover the clothes. You have to cover the medical expenses. You have to cover all these things, right? Yeah. Then you got extra, curricular activities. That stuff costs. So if you got a job, if you got a 9 to 5, you working 9 to 5. That's literally 9 to 5. So if the event begins at, let's say, 6 o'clock, well, that means that person went to work for 8 hours, then has to come home, change up, and then the kid has to somehow get factored into that and get over there. And so I remember I was frustrated because I was like, why aren't these people supporting these kids? But then I said, well, where are the parents at? Heck, the parents may have still been at work. Yeah. And so I always thought about that. And I still carry that with me now with my own kids, that I see their teammates sometimes that just get dropped off in the parking lot. And I was like, man, for as long as I can, I will not be that parent. Now, it's no disrespect to those parents. I want to make sure I make that abundantly clear. It's no disrespect if you have to drop your kid off or if you have to have a latchkey kid because you're a single parent and you are getting off of work while they already make it home for because they work they live across the street from school, whatever the scenario is. But I know that for me, in my situation, being the outside parent, my job is to make every effort I can to get there when I can. Yeah. I'm also a comic, and I'm also going at this comedy thing as hard as I'm going after this parent thing. And there are going to be some days where it's going to butt heads. Yeah. Today's a great example. I have the comedy thing. The parent thing went out the window. Now, my son is still good to go. My daughter's still good to go. Yeah. But there are going to be those days that I'm going to want to do everything except the thing that I think I'm called to do comedy. Yeah. I think I am called. I think that I was designed to entertain people, to connect with people, to make people feel. Yeah. And because of that, that gift is sometimes going to get in the way of things that I would like to do. Hanging with my daughter, hanging with my son, watching them do something, bringing them along on places. There's some times now where I get booked in places I can't bring them to. Yeah. I don't want to bring them to, So it's a lot. I know we've went on a tangent, but for me, the thing I love about it is we're both parents and we can both, I don't have to sugarcoat the stuff with you because you're right there. Yeah. I mean, you're steps ahead. Yeah. You said your he's 19?
He's 18.
18, dude.
He's a young graduate.
2 years away from that.
Yeah.
Mine is 16.
And I remember when he reached that 14, 15 range is when I started thinking about the countdown clock. Yeah. And now this is when I'm going to start crying because I still think vividly about various little moments. I would think, okay, I've got a year and a half, 2 months, a day, and
all of a sudden,
then he's gone.
Yeah. For me, because I'm outside of the home, I don't have that same thing. And I don't know if they're going to move away. I think Simone, she's always the one that says she's going to move away. I'm going to move away as soon as I turn 18. And I was like, no, you're not. And I said, if not, I'm moving where you go. wherever you go, I'm going to, you know. And me and the mom both, we joke. We said we're gonna be in the bushes. We're gonna both be in bushes just watching. Your friends gonna be like, yo, there's a dude in the bushes. She's like, oh, that's just my dad. He's just there all the time.
Yeah.
There's another person in the bushes too. It's scary.
When he graduates, I might want to follow him depending on where he goes.
I don't see anything wrong with that anymore. I used to worry about stuff like that. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. And
I mean, I moved my mom in with me because, you know, she was by herself in a house that she couldn't take care of anymore.
No, there's no need for that.
It's like, just let's get a house together.
Yeah.
I actually moved her down. She rented an apartment right below ours, and
so still got a little bit of independence.
And then we were like, hey, with the amount we're spending on rent for 2 unique apartments, let's just go into a house together.
Yep.
And now, you know, we live together, and now I've turned into the, you know, I've replaced parenting of one style with
that's how it works though.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's so real. It's
I don't
so
think,
real.
and I don't know where you're at on religion.
Nah.
Okay. So I'm gonna do this one, and this will just be on my side. You don't have to speak on it or not. I believe that God does not allow us to go through something without already having prior experience of it. I also think that sometimes when we think we're losing something, it gets replaced. My sister didn't have kids of her own. My kids were her kids. My sister passed away at 42.
Oh gosh.
She passed away at 42, right? My daughter is a spitting image of her.
Wow.
Spitting image. Sometimes she likes to walk by, and I'm like, hell, Cassandra here? Like, you know, my sister named Cassandra. And then with me, and I God heaven forbid, something happens to me.
Yeah.
My son's a spitting image of me. He has his moments, man, where he's walking by, and I'm like, oh, that's me if I was skinny, you know? He's me if I stayed at, I think the last time I was skinny at 4, I think 4 or 5. Then after that, I was husky. My grandma told me that. I'll never forget. She said, "You're husky." I was like, that don't sound right. The only thing I know of a husky is a dog, and it sounds kind of like a bike, and I'm mad. But I just know that there's no mistakes made in this thing, and that when something happens and it's so dramatic and so traumatic, there's something that goes almost like a cry into the void, and it gets answered. You know, when you hear a dog yell or bark, and then another dog somewhere else barks. I feel like our life is like that.
Yeah.
When you're really, really needing it, you get an answer in kind.
Yeah.
And so I think that your mom coming, that solved problems, both emotionally, spiritually, and probably even physically.
Yeah.
You know, there were some things that you were like, holy crap, I'm not alone again. And she's not alone. Because imagine, I don't know. I only had, it was just me and my sister for my mom. And so with her, I love the fact that I'm still here and I'm able to kind of, you know, and that's part of the reasons why Austin wasn't a place that I left. Now what makes it beautiful is because I'm doing comedy. The comedy stuff came here.
Yeah.
I have no reason between my kids, my mom, and comedy. I have no real reason to leave Austin. Go perform other places.
Sure.
Go visit other places. But as far as moving, I'm good right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit.
Talk about it, y'all. We talk about life. This is what happens. People talk life stuff.
I don't know too much about the origin of the R.L. Stein.
Tell me God. That is my people. That's Josh and Mars. Shout out. That's a husband and wife. They're out of Laredo. They live here in Austin now. And me and Josh always connected on music stuff. Music is a very big part of who I am. And me and him always connected, just like I would, whenever I went and performed, annually I'd go down to Laredo and perform, and I'd run into him. I was like, what the hell, black dude here in Laredo? You know, but I always thought he was so dope. I thought he was so cool. I didn't even know a lot about him. I just digged his vibe, his energy. And so he moves to Austin, and I remember for about a year, we just kept missing each other. We didn't connect. And then when we ran into each other at the Buzz Mill, I think I was either there to do an open mic or show. Either way, I was there. And we talked, and I said, oh, you're here now? He said, yeah, I'm here, man. And I said, dude, I apologize. I said, dude, you've been here for a year, and I haven't ran into you, but I knew when you came it was a good thing. I just didn't know why. Fast forward a few more years, and he's hanging around the Tiniest Bar, and I've started Tuesdays making it more different than Thursdays. Thursdays was the long-established open mic that was just regular. Tuesdays, I wanted to experiment with music. And so I got a looper, I would rap, I'd play instrumentals, I'd sing. I did all these things by myself. And then I one day just, I think I don't know if I had a keyboard. I think a dude asked for a keyboard, and in the place that we're at right now, Fallout had a random keyboard that they were willing to part ways with. You just needed to plug. So I brought a keyboard over, and I said, if anybody can play this thing, play this thing. And then my homeboy, shout out to Luke Newman, he came and started playing. And Luke was doing his thing, but it was just like the way he played was so chill that for me, it lulled me to sleep. No disrespect to him, but that's the style that he played.
Yeah.
It worked, but it was like, people were just kind of like up there going through the motions. Well, one day Josh was there, and he just jumped on and played. And I'm telling you, he banged out. I mean, he was playing anything that he wanted to play. You could think of it, he was playing it. And so it would be like Luke would play for a little while. Luke would take a break to go smoke, go drink, whatever. And then Josh would jump on. And in those moments, I was like, dang, man. You're stealing my boy Luke's job. I was like, hey, Luke, take 2 more comics off. I tell him take 2 more comics off. Then one day, I think he just didn't come. And I think the writing was on the wall that he could kind of feel it. So he didn't come. And I didn't reach out to say, hey, come back. Josh just showed up. And I said, Josh, go do the thing. And so he did that. And so we would just vibe off each other. And I don't know how we just came to the conclusion of let's be a group, but it happened. I always envisioned myself doing something with music and comedy, but I always thought I thought it was just going to be me. I never realized that it wasn't just me in that vision. And so he started playing, and we just ran with it. And I would just be making stuff up because I make up songs, but I'm like doing a song, but I'm changing the words. It's what I used to do in the van with the kids. Yeah, because I couldn't do the music, the words, the lyrics of today's music. Man, you feel like,
yeah.
What does WAP stand for? White Apple Prodigy. White Apple Prodigy. So I would do stuff like that, and I was doing it on stage. Even as a beatboxer, I would do that. But this was different. I no longer had to make the music. I now had the music behind me. All I had to do was just be me. Yeah. And so when I saw that, I was like, let's play around with this and let's see what we do. And so he started showing up every Tuesday. And so every Tuesday he was available, he'd show up, and we just became that thing. And people enjoyed it. And I knew that when people were enjoying what I was doing the right thing. And it felt really similar to Sugar Water Purple. We're currently on hiatus. But people would come up to us and go, we can tell y'all have been together for a long time. We can tell that y'all rehearse all the time. We do none of that. We don't rehearse. We ain't been together all because we got members in and out, and everybody ain't always available. But we had a certain energy. There's a vibe. There was a synergy. And it's very similar to what me and Josh have. Me and him have it a little bit more because we both grew up pretty similar the same way. Both of our moms are named Jackie. Yep. His mom spells hers with a Q. Mine is CKIE, but still Jackie. Both of us are, I'd say, mama's boys. Both of us we're just we're intuitive in the fact that, like, if somebody's going through something, I feel like he can pick up on it. I can pick him up on it, but he has his moments where he can just turn a blind eye to it, and I'm the same way, that we can just power through our collective stuff. And so there are moments that we're up there and we're performing that he didn't have to say, hey, let's do this. I didn't have to say, hey, let's do this. We just jump into it. It's improv. Yeah. It's really improv. When you're improvising with a good scene partner, or I guess good scene partners, your troupe, that's when you know that magic exists. And so me and him, we make magic. I tell people we're about to do black magic for y'all. It's regular magic just done by black people, no voodoo involved, But it's beautiful, dude. We just became a group. We became a group. R.L. Stein's Rhythm and Love, and then the Stein part. I don't know how that name came up, but I think we've agreed on the fact that when we're really doing what we're doing, we get goosebumps when we're doing it. And we feel like we give people goosebumps when they really start realizing that they're hearing good music, and it's also funny. Yeah. But you're hearing good music. It's aesthetically pleasing, but it also can make you laugh as well. Yeah. Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Thank you.
There's a couple of musical comedy performers out there in the universe, and they're so much fun to watch because, they figured out, I love these two things. Yeah. Why wouldn't I bring them together somehow?
They can go. Yeah. They can go, and it's something that it works everywhere. It's not something like stand-up. I always tell people, stand-up comedy, you can do stand-up comedy anywhere, but you can only do good stand-up comedy in certain places. There's comedy everywhere right now, but there's a few places that have good comedy. You know, there's some places that they don't need to have just everybody shut up and listen for the next 45 minutes. No, man, some places they need to be able to, oh, that sounds good. Hey, girl, so anyways, ooh, girl, listen to that. You know, and it's, I think for us, we are something that we're very easy on the ears or easy on the eyes, I'd like to believe, but it's something that you don't have to be standard. Like the room doesn't have to be standard because we're at Tiniest Bar. It's outside. It's outside. There's everything going on. There's people coming and going, yet we're still able to keep people's attention. And I love that a lot of people still haven't caught on to us yet, because I think that as we're figuring it out, we're still working out the crooks. We also have a Friday show now, every Friday at Cold Town, that's Along for the Vibes, which is almost it's a heightened version of our Tuesday open mic, except we're the focus. On Tuesday, the comedian is the focus. We're complimentary. Okay. On Friday, we are the focus, and in the comics, which we're changing our format a little bit, they are secondary. Okay. Like they're there just to hang out along for the vibes. We did a show on, we had a residency at the Hilton on Saturdays during the month of December, where we were just the backing of the performers, where we just went up there and did music. We're doing a little Christmas stuff, tongue in cheek. But it ended up being a thing where there was a lot of times where we were carrying the show, where the audience was disinterested. They weren't there to listen. The comedians maybe weren't connecting, yet we were there able to make music that made it salvageable. So there's something there. I think being in tune, having a comic do something, if it's related to time or it's related to connecting with the audience, is a good thing, because that's what we do. We go on stage and we keep time. We go on stage and we're constantly surveying. And I told a comic a long time ago, all we're doing is a bunch of evaluations. Oh, if I tell this kind of joke to this kind of audience, this is the response I'm going to get. Okay, cool. Oh, I don't see that kind of audience. Okay, maybe I don't need to do that kind of joke. Oh, this kind of audience responds to this stuff. Oh, I'm booked at this place. These are the kind of jokes I'm going to do. It's just a bunch of evaluations. That's all it is. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't realize that the organic development at the Tiniest Bar, Mike, because I've only seen the promos at the Cold Town for the Cold Town show. So I'm going to get there.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. And everybody's not supposed to see it in this version. I think that when we figure out who we really are, I promise you, when we figure out who we really are, we're going to move some real stuff. I'm going to leave it at that, because it's not, you don't do things, in my opinion, you don't do things and get rewarded for it when you're half-assing it. Like when you don't really believe in something, I think it can happen. I know there are plenty of other examples out there, but I feel like for me, I'm doing something that I don't have a chance to really, like whenever I try to go, I'm just going to try a little bit. That ain't moving. That ain't real. I'm going to sing. Okay, you better sing. Well, I'm going to try to sing. Nah, you need to sing. But I don't look cute. I'm missing a tooth on that side. Show that missing tooth. Sing. But my stomach, I don't feel, whenever I have those, it's never, I don't come away fulfilled. But when I have that moment where I feel uncomfortable, and I'm like, oh, that girl in the front, she's probably looking at me going, oh, he can't sing. That's when the real magic happens. And with Josh, he's so good at letting go when it comes to the music part that it makes me have to come to where he's at. And then I'm really good at letting go when it comes to the comedy part, so then he has to come where I'm at. And then his wife, Mars, who's now in the group as well, she's there and she's still figuring out who she is and the whole thing. But she's funny. She can sing. We have little tambourines and stuff. She has a kazoo. It's something that we're not putting words to it because we don't know what it is, but we definitely know it's special. It's like you're familiar with athletics. There's a guy that plays a multitude of positions really well. We don't know what specific position he is. So you just say he's an athlete. That guy's an athlete. Is he a forward? Is he a fullback? Is he a goalie? He's an athlete. He can do it all. And that's where we're at right now.
So all right, let's.
Do you think?
I miss my clock from at home, so I gotta. All right.
Do they not have one in here?
No, and the microwave is just stuck on 39.
Let me see.
I don't
you know what's funny? That's a picture. How many shows am I doing this month?
Oh, hell yeah.
See?
Wait.
I told you.
I don't have,
ain't no accidents.
We're gonna
Valerie, I told you. Ain't no
holy
accidents.
Cow, for real.
When I tell you it ain't no accidents, dude,
For
that's why I
real.
work the way I work.
Oh, my God.
It's I work the way I work for a reason. And when you're working as you're supposed to,
So here in the Fallout studio,
happens.
podcast studio, there is a microwave across from where I'm sitting. And I thought I could use it as a time gauge,
Right.
but it's been stuck on 39 the entire time. And Courtney is in the middle of his 39 shows for her 39th birthday leading up to. And how crazy.
no accidents, my dude.
Oh,
no accidents, no coincidences. Everything for a reason. The Y in my name stands for always have a reason why you do anything. And sometimes that why is randomness.
There it is.
Randomness of life. I'll reset it now. I just had to get that picture. Here. Oh, well, that didn't help. It just goes to 0.
Oh, except if I could, I'll mark time with that.
Set the
assuming
clock.
it, yeah. All right. So one of the things that I started doing after the pandemic is
Talk to me.
Richard, who's our web guru.
Shout out to Richard.
The engineer during all those online shows. He got me this card game called Where Should We Begin?
Okay.
And it is a series. It's a card game with these prompts on it. And so you're gonna point to one of these two cards, left or right.
Right.
So that you're right.
You're right.
My right. This one?
Whichever one. Yep, that one.
Okay.
Whichever one you grab.
All right. I'm going to read this one to you after you read this one to me, and we'll see where the conversation goes.
The worst date I've ever been on.
Ooh, the worst date that I've ever been on. Oh, my God. It's not that I haven't been on bad dates. It's just I was never like a serial dater type person. So I really have to reach to figure out. Something tells me that okay. Now I was living in San Antonio, and I was dating, quote unquote, dating this guy. Oh, he was just a nightmare. He came up to me at a concert and said, "I'm Mr. Pink." And this is dating me, of course, because this is when Reservoir Dogs had just come out. And the guy thought, "I'm going to be so cool and edgy. My name's Mr. Pink." And I'm like, okay. And one of our dates was, there's this whole, like, I guess it's a sewer system in San Antonio where you can just go walk around, and they're like, big out above ground sewer systems, and he would show me where all his friends would graffiti and tag and do all sorts of terrible things. And I don't know, that was not a great date.
That was the date. Okay. Wow.
So I guess that's my terrible date.
Phil.
All right, yours. Okay, yin and yang here. My favorite love story to tell.
Favorite love story. I have a few. I'm trying to think of moments. I think I'm going to go with the time I drove a car with little to no gas. My then ex-wife, my then wife, she's not ex-wife, she's ex-wife now. She had an event or something. Her friends took her up to, Austin Parks and Peach. No, Gettytown.
Okay.
Took her to Gettytown. And I couldn't go. And I'm not going to lie, I didn't go, one, because I didn't want to go. But two, I was broke. And I was in this whole thing of, why am I going to places I don't want to go and I ain't got no money for? Y'all can't just be popping up with events like that on me. That's not how my money works. And so I remember they went and I didn't go, and I felt bad. And she was like, well, I really wanted to go. And I think I pulled out of it. I might have pulled out at the last minute too, or something like that. And so either way, because I pulled out the way I did, I was kind of looking like, he ain't the kind of dude, yada. And I remember she kind of made me feel bad a little bit for it. And so I remember I said, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to drive up here with fumes and no money. I don't even know what I'm going to do when I get up here. And so I drove up, and when I drove up, her friends were like, I told you he would come. And so I thought that was really cool. Yeah. That was really cool. I cannot remember what happened after that. I just know I was like, yeah, haha. I don't know how I made it home that day. God, if Uber existed, I would have just driven Uber or something like that to make the money.
Yeah.
But I think that's the best love story I have of myself, because everything else would have probably been my kids, or would have been a story of comedy.
Sure.
And I was like, you know what, let me meet you where you're at.
Yeah. Nice. What else is going on in the life of Symply?
Too much. But it's what I prayed for.
Yeah.
I wanted comedy and my kids to run my life so much. I wanted comedy to be in a way. I tell people all the time, I used to pray. I said, I want comedy to be in a way. I want comedy to be so big and badass. I want it to be where I have to say, hey, comedy, calm down. Comedy, I need you to stop. Comedy, you're at a 10. I need you at a 5 right now. But that's what it is. Comedy's at a 10 right now in my life. And my kids are right there.
Yeah.
I think that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, even though I might complain and bitch and moan sometimes. I'm where I'm supposed to be. I have a really great support group around me. Everything that I am doing, it's not just me. I think there's 5 shows that I'm in charge of a month, and then 2 open mics, right? The 2 open mics, I have a group of people that are currently running that for me. I would love to try to shout all of them out. I can't right now because I can't remember all of them. But in addition to that, we do a late night laugh show the 4th Friday of every month at the Hideout Theater. Justin O'Donnell is spearheading that. He is amazing. Matter of fact, he hosted my special recording. When I did my recording, he hosted it. What do you call it? Shout out to Theodorus Blue. Shout out to Jeff. Those are the guys that actually recorded the whole thing for me. And then Theo, he double dipped. He recorded and he performed as well. My show at Tiniest now, we have a show on Saturdays now.
Okay.
Yeah, we're all over the place. And that's Sherry, Hal, and Seth. They are running that currently. My Along for the Vibes, which is Fridays, that's Josh and Mars and myself. Shout out to Will Cleveland, who spearheads us, and he's one of the owners at Cold Town. He supports me like no other. We talk, and you can tell he gets it, and he's like, I want you to succeed at this. I've seen the show. I love the show. When you have people like that in your corner, you can't not do this thing.
Yeah.
This is how serious I am about this. And I'm probably not supposed to say this. I'm supposed to promote how hard I want people to come to see me do stand-up. I am going to take a break after my 39 shows are done from stand-up. And I'm going to put all of my effort and my energy into R.L. Stein. That's how serious I am about it. It's not saying that I'm not coming back to stand-up. I will come back.
Well, I know you're coming back on March 5th.
Look at that. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it got real quick. Y'all couldn't see it. I know you're coming back because March 5th, sir, you got a week to get your affairs in order. I know. I joked with my friends. I was like, I need a break, dude. And I felt like I said, I need a break. And I kept saying, I need a break. I'm going through it. I need a break. And it was like, dude, I think you just need to, take some steps back, but refocus on some stuff. And so I was like, do I step away from comedy? What am I doing? I even talked to you about it. And I said, no, I think you just need to focus in on something. And so I said, well, R.L. Stein is doing really good. I want to see where I can push that.
Yeah.
I had a divided attention. I feel bad because some of the other shows I did in the round over at Moon Tower. Shout out to my family at Moon Tower Cider Company. I had to let those things go. Shout out to Tiffany Epiphany. We used to run Comics and Queens. I couldn't focus on those things because my brain was saying, Courtney, there's something coming. This is like when we're talking about your mom versus when your son moved out. I knew there was something coming and I needed to be ready for it.
Yeah.
And what it was R.L. Stein. Obviously the album, that's great. We're still doing that. We're now selling, we now have it on CD.
Nice.
So we have it on CD. We have it streaming, obviously, all you talk about. But I was like, dude, something's coming. And it's this music thing. It was this music thing all along. I remember during the pandemic, I bought my looper, my RC505. I remember I was crying as I was walking out the store because I knew it was something serious.
Yeah.
And I was like, dog, is it just me? And I was like, no, I don't think I'm done building a group. I'm building a band that we can do this comedy music thing. And we want it to sound good. If it didn't sound good, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And so because it sounds so good, Val. You have, when we do it live, like we post it on our Instagram live, but you have to see us when we really get rolling. There's always one part during our performances where I get goosebumps, and I'm like, oh, shit, that sounds good. Damn, I wish we were recording that, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's, I think, the next step for me is to get us recorded and to get us to where it's Symply Courtney is still doing his stand-up stuff, but R.L. Stein is also doing their music stuff, because I just feel like one of these things is going to pop.
Yeah.
I've done stand-up comedy for 12 years with no break. Even during the pandemic, I was still doing shows online, doing mics online. I think that if I can go hard for this, there's something good on the other side. I'm not saying it's going to be immediate riches and fame and fortune and all that, but I just feel like the way that people respond to us and R.L. Stein, it's something that I haven't felt before. I felt close to it with Sugar Water Purple, but this man, Joshua Macaulay, by the way, I'll say his whole name. Joshua Macaulay can play damn near 15 instruments.
Wow.
15. Every now and then I'll ask him, I'll say, how many instruments do you play? But then he'll just spit it out. So he knows music.
Wow.
And it's in his blood. And then me personally, I think I'm pretty damn funny. Also, I got a little music in myself. And I can quickly, you could throw something at me and we'll make it into something. But it's different when there's good sounding music that you can dance to, that you can cry to, that you can make love to, that you can pull yourself out of a rut to. That's different. And I said, what I want for us is I want us to sound so good that people don't even know that it's comedy. That I want people to be moved and emotional about it. And they're like, oh, these fuckers are comics. Are these people comics? You know, and so I watched Bo Burnham. Bo Burnham is a guy that inspired me. He can have emotionally charged moments in the midst of just utter absurdity. And I think that we're not too far off of that. But we're not going to put a name to it. We're just going to perform. We're going to let the cards fall wherever they may, and we're going to perform. But I think that when I take that break, that's going to be me really tunneling in. Because I went through a breakup, and I remember I said I'm going to focus on the music more. There was a neighbor behind my house. He was playing the drums all the time, and I was in a really bad moment, and I left my house. And I remember I walked. I didn't walk. I drove. And I found the source of the drums. And talking to him, it riled me up, and it got me out of my rut. And I was like, oh, no, it's going to be the music thing. And I told myself, Mondays, every Monday I'm going to do something music. And I never went back over there again. I didn't. I felt so weird. I was like, oh, my God, I was a random dude that just showed up, you know. But I know that there's something going on with me when it comes to this music stuff. And so I was like, I got to see what this is. But I'll be back March 5th for real. I don't think I'll be gone for long. I think that I just think that I need to be able to give myself permission to focus in elsewhere. The comedy thing is always who I am. There's never going to be a time where I'm not funny. Even when I am gray and not, I'm still going to be cracking jokes. But I love the fact that I have another outlet. And I'm trusting people more. I have more people in my corner than you would believe that are giving me space to be, to feel, to work, to try, to struggle, to succeed, to fail, to go, I think I'm good. Yeah, you are good. I think I'm gonna record an album. Yeah, you're gonna record an album. Theodore's Blue, when I did my Wednesday shows at not Cold Town, at the Velve. I was doing Velve, doing the shows there, and they weren't going particularly well. I think out of the three, only one maybe was decent. And so I was talking with him on 6th Street. We just randomly were talking. And I told him about this idea I had. I said, I think I want to record my special. I think I'm ready to record. He's like, you are going to record. And he didn't let me leave that corner until I was in agreement that I was going to record. I'm going to come record it. We'll record it with iPhones. We'll shoot it with iPhones. We'll get 3-4 iPhones. And then Jeff, my homeboy who did my album, he was like, yeah, we're going to do it. And everybody that I've talked to, they said, we're going to do it. When I talked to Josh and Mars, not only do they dote over me about being a good dad, they say, no, you're a part of it. I try to wiggle out. So this is something you don't know. I try to wiggle out of that group like probably once every 2 weeks. Once every 2 weeks, I'm like, maybe I don't need to be in a group. Maybe you should just do everything, Josh. People don't like me. And they're like, you're a part of the group. Yeah. And then Mars, who's now part of the group too, she's like, you're a part of the group. You're as much a part of this group as Josh is, as I am. It's R.L. Stein. It's not Josh. It's not Mars. It's R.L. Stein. And so they do not let up on me. And I need people like that in my life to let me know. But I'm blessed though, dude. Like, I have so many people in my corner that whenever I doubt what I can do, I'm getting to the point where I'm letting people down when I don't do my stuff. I don't know if you understand.
Well, I know you have fought with this for a long time. When we've had, just random little conversations, catching up with each other.
Yeah, man.
You fought with this.
You don't think you're good, dude. You go so long not knowing if you're good. And now people are telling you you're good. And you're like, wait, I'm good? Like, you fucking with me, right? Like, you lying. Nah, dog, you funny, man. And then you see people respond. And I mean, I ain't no big time, thousands of views type person. I really understand that if I see 60 views on something, that's either 60 people or that's 60 times that something was watched. If I get 20 likes on something, that's 20 people that saw that and said that connected with them. You don't stop.
Yeah. I think there's another element too that is important, and you're because you're nearing a birthday, you're being introspective about it too. But not only are you good as an entertainer, as a comic, as a musician, but you are like inherently good. And I think you let the world in on that, and the world kind of returns that favor to you.
I think so, man. I have my faults and my flaws like everybody else, but I love the fact that if I have $1 and I give that $1 to somebody else, and that's all I had, I don't ask for $1 in return, but it comes back. Yeah. And that's a metaphor, but sometimes it's literal too. That whenever I've asked for something, just like you, when your son left, your son moved, he went to school. All of a sudden now your mom's there. For me, that's happened so many times to where I needed something. I felt like, oh my God, I need something, dude. I need a win. I've said, God, I need a win, dude. And it came. But sometimes the win didn't come until I got my ass out of bed and left. Yeah. That opportunity that I thought I wasn't going to get, I maybe didn't get it, but I got something better. Last year, I was the MC of the University of Texas Longhorns volleyball team, right? Nice. I thought that was it. I said, oh, this is the one. This is it right here. I was also emceeing random Fortnite tournaments with this really dope charter school at the same time. Both of those hit me up within weeks of each other. Wow. And I'm like, oh my God, this is it. You know what the problem was? I couldn't be me and do those at the same time. For the UT thing, I have to be clean cut and be perfect and prim and proper, and I'm anything but. To do the video game thing, I think I lost that on a technicality because my son had a tournament. I chose to go to my son's tournament instead of going to they had a random one that popped up on a Sunday. Yeah. And for the longest, my son's tournaments were just on Sundays. Their tournaments were always on Saturdays. Well, all of a sudden, they say, hey, we actually need to do this on Sunday. And I needed that money, Val. I needed that money. That money from the UT thing and the money from the game thing. I needed both of those. But guess what? I had to focus in on my kids and I had to focus in on myself. Yeah. And my album was coming out. And I remember I was getting ready to go record my album right when I was getting the UT thing. And I asked the young lady, I said, do you think I need to censor? Do I need to edit my album? And I'm like, dude, you've worked 8 years. This is 8 years of your life. Now all of a sudden in the last, in the 11th hour, you're going to change up? Fuck that. And so when I pretty much lost both those gigs within weeks of each other, I was free. I was free to be me. Yeah. I was free to not have to second guess myself and my creativity. And I still think I'm better for it. I got paid a little bit from it. It wasn't bad. Sure. And I wish I could continually get that. But I know that what I'm after There's not a monetary amount attached to it.
Yeah.
There's something in my spirit that says, Courtney, you're not in a position to second guess yourself, and you're not in a position to go out here and half-ass it. Because whenever I half-ass it, I see what I get. Mm-hmm. But when I fully commit, you get people responding to you, and they're like, oh, my God, that was amazing.
Yeah.
I don't care if there's only 2 people in the audience right now at R.L. Stein for How Long for the Vibes. As we figure it out, that 2 will become 4, that 4 will become 8, that 8 will become 100. Mm-hmm. But I love the fact that I can be so passionate about something and actually see it in front of me. Because sometimes, like when we did that online thing where we were doing it and I was telling jokes, I didn't know if people were hearing it. I wasn't getting responses.
Right.
And sometimes with this stuff, I don't know if I'm hearing people, if I'm getting responses. But I feel in my heart, as I just give up, and not say give up, but like as I just get away from the ego, I strip away all of the things that scare me and worry me, it comes back tenfold. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, I'm like, I'm singing, there's nobody in here, I'm just going to sing, there's nobody in here, I'm going to sing. And then when I finally open my eyes, it's a room full of people.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute, where do these people come from?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's me talking too much. Microphone's like, shut up, Courtney, wrap it up.
You talked about how the Velv headlining thing, you feel like it's kind of like a final exam, and you know you never stop learning. So after you crush that final, you'll take that break, and you'll have another class to take, and that'll be the energy into the R.L. Stein.
Yes.
And whatever else your heart commands.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Is there anything we haven't talked about that you want to make sure?
We've covered it. I mean, there's always more. More, but no, for the sake of time and the fact that there'll be a third interview. That's the goal of it. There'll be a third interview. Yeah. This was a special one for me. I really enjoyed the fact that I was like, wait a minute. The thing that I used to consider a hallmark, I was like, man, if they don't interview me, I'm not a comic in Austin. Here I am talking to you guys. And I love the fact that I know I'm cutting it out, but I didn't get a chance to focus in on talking about that weekend. That weekend's going to be great.
Yeah.
Regardless. It's going to be great. I'm going to keep promoting. I'm working a different angle where I'm going to promote the living daylights out of myself. Normally I get kind of bashful halfway through, and I said, no, we're going to focus in. I started a month early. I was proud of myself. I'm going to start a month early, and I'm going to try to put myself out there in front of as many people as I can. And if you see something, you see some of those clips, something of that connects with you, that's me connecting with you. Yeah. Come to the dang show. Absolutely. January 31st through February 1st, 3 shows, 2 nights, 8 o'clock on Friday only, 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock on Saturday, and 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock on Saturday. My ex-wife's going to come. She's going to actually come to one of the shows. Nice. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm trying to get some of my son's teammates' parents to come as well. Here's a weird thing, and I'll throw this at you, and we can call it whenever you're ready. His teammates have been watching me on Instagram, and my daughter's friends, and they always ask, they're like, well, can we come to a show? And I've always been like, y'all can't come because y'all aren't old enough or whatever it is. But I'm putting this into the atmosphere right now because I have to do this into the universe. I'm going to do a show that allows them to come and laugh with their parents.
Aww.
It's going to be, but it's not going to be cutesy because these are teenagers.
Yeah, right.
I still want the cusses. I still want people. Now, I'm not going to be up there with there's going to be some things that we're going to have to be like, because I want to do a show, not just myself, but other performers. Yeah. But I don't have enough performers around me that can perform clean. Mm-hmm. And I think that's by design. Yeah. I can always do it, but I don't have people that can perform clean. It's like, well, because you're not supposed to do that right now. Your job is to perform clean, but as far as the comics that are up under you, figure out the ones that can do a joke that won't get them punched in the face by a parent. You said what to my daughter? So I'm going to do a show for them that allows them to come and watch and laugh with their parents, but they don't know cutesy, baby stuff. No, this is going to be a real comedy show, but it's going to be something that there's still going to be parameters, so. Yeah. But that's it.
Fun.
Yep.
All right. Do you want to do a future word?
Please.
So last visit, which was, can you believe this, like almost 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Family was your future word.
That's dope. See that?
I know.
It's no accidents.
I know.
I'm telling you, there's no accidents.
Yeah.
No accidents at all.
Want to keep it?
No.
You want to change it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it?
More. More.
I like it.
The word is more.
I like it. All right. Ah, well, I'm so glad we had this conversation. I always love talking to you.
Thank you.
I know we had our conversation. We had lunch together, and that was so much fun. I love talking to you.
Thank you.
Great.
I
Whether
received
there's
that.
a recorder or not.
No. I always appreciate talking with you because you see so much of the world in such a wonderful way, and I appreciate being around people that can light up a room just by talking to people. And you're good at this. This is not something that you're just kind of half-assing it. You're really good at this. You have a gift. You have a talent at talking to people and listening. But also, some people just listen. Mm-hmm. You're actually here communicating and conversing back and forth. Yeah. And it doesn't feel disingenuous. Never have. Yeah. Never have. Oh. And congratulations on you for improv because I love it. I just did Cold Town's Duopoly Festival, and shout out to Will and them. That was amazing. It was all duos. Yeah. I'm in 2 duos, by the way. I forget. I know. I'm in everything, right? So I have one group that's called Good Rap, Bad Rap. Shout out to Chris Viafano. Me and him do that where we do improv and we also rap. And then I'm in Black as Fuck, which I did last night with Rochelle McConico. Oh my gosh! And so that's always fun. We had a freaking show last night. Oh, we had nice. Yeah. So this 39 has been fun. I've been interacting and crisscrossing with so many people, and I'm going to continue to do so.
Yeah. Nice.
But yeah.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Well, that is a wrap on Comedy Wham presents Simply Courtney. Simply tell us where people can follow you and promote your project. All right. Instagram. We're going to go Instagram because that's where I'm most active. I am Symply Courtney. Symply Courtney spelled SYMPLY and then COURTNEY and then put I am in front of it. If you find one that is spelled with an I, that's not me. That's probably a young lady that does makeup and she's super hot but not funny. Thank God. If you're on YouTube, if you're looking for me, it's Symply Courtney 48888. I do not know how to change the username yet. I'll have to learn how to do that. But right now it's Symply Courtney 48888. 8's my lucky number, so I might not change it. TikTok, I think it's Symply Courtney as well. For depending on when this comes out, because the 19th supposedly TikTok goes under. I think Simply Haha is the best way to find the shows that I produce. That's Instagram. That's simplyhaha.com. as well as Facebook and all of that. But if you want to find me, y'all, come freaking find me January 31st at the Velveeta Room. January 31st, 8 o'clock, one show. And then February 1st, the month of my birth, the 8 o'clock show and 10 o'clock show. Come hang out. I'm doing 39 shows in 39 days. I think that's everything. God. I really do have a lot. You do have a lot, yeah. Talking to you just made me understand it. Wow, the brevity just set in. We hope you've enjoyed learning about how Simply got to be the comedic genius that you heard today just as much as I have. This has been Comedy Wham presents Simply Courtney. I'm Valerie, and that's been funny. Thank you, Simply.